Welcome to As The Pokéball Turns, where every trainer has a story. I'm David Hernandez.
I am joined by Dana. For those who don't know, Dana is actually a trainer who came out around 2020, and she's going to share her story on how she came to this game and what it was like. Dana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. And before we do get started, we've talked off the air about it, and you said you played Pokemon Go during the COVID. That's correct?
Correct. That's when I picked it up. My son started in the very beginning, and I would take him around so that he could play. And it was just a great way for me to spend some time with a teenager at the time. Then he lost interest, and I picked up his account during COVID in 2020.
So when it first came out in 2016, you were taking your son. Were you like taking him to places, or were you kind of like driving around to play?
I would drive him around to play. I picked him up after school. I would drive him around to different spots and then connect with some of his friends that he was real close with around our little town. So if I picked him up after school, I would drive him around just our little town and he might meet up with some friends. Just a fun way to spend a little bit of time with him as he played.
During this time when your son was playing, did you have any interest in picking up the game at all?
I didn't, I really didn't know anything about it at all. I still don't know a whole lot about it, but I just enjoyed watching him play. So I never thought about myself playing. And at that time, he didn't have his own phone. I don't think he had gotten his phone till after that. So he would just use mine.
So it was just more of a way for you to bond with your son because you said he was a teenager and you were just being supportive as a mother to help your son enjoy the game that he loves.
Yes, exactly.
So we fast forward to, I guess, 2020, 4 years afterwards. What made you want to pick up Pokemon Go?
Well, it's interesting because I started working for a gentleman who his wife had traveled back to China to be with her father who was ill, and that's when COVID hit. And there was a 2-week quarantine there and a 2-week quarantine here for her to get back to the States. So they were just going to kind of ride it out, and not knowing what's going to be ahead. So he needed some help with his 3 young children, somebody to be there after they got out of school. So I started going over there in the afternoons and helping him with the little ones, which then turned into them having online schooling. So I was helping with all their online learning. And one day he was in the kitchen and I looked down and he was playing Pokemon. I said, "Are you playing Pokemon?" Because he's about my age, which I'm 54. And I thought, I can't believe he's playing Pokemon. And he goes, "Yeah." And he was very serious about it. And the kids, then I found out they played. And so I thought, well, I'm going to download it so I can play with the kids. And then that's where it all started. Just started playing, and then I got hooked. The gentleman that had hired me to come help with his kids, he had friends that he played with from Germany. I don't know if it was because that he played all the time at his house, but Pokemon would spawn like crazy at his house. I had never seen anything like that. So that was exciting. And that was where I got started.
Definitely. One thing I've always noticed, maybe you can confirm, whenever I used to work around people who were much older than I am, who were like in their 50s and 60s, and their idea of playing a game like Pokemon Go is kind of foreign from my experience. Like for me, playing games, people my age, playing games is natural. But when you get to like a certain age, it seems like it's not something that's natural. Like it's something that's forbidden, for lack of a better word. Do you ever feel that way?
I did in the beginning. I'm a big kid at heart, probably always will be. And our whole family, we love to have fun. Even as adults with our kids, we would play hide and go seek in the trees at nighttime, and we just love to have fun. I've always enjoyed playing games, and it might just be solitaire on my phone or something like that. But I thought, here I am. What am I doing playing Pokemon? And my family loves to give me a hard time about it too. Nobody else plays but me, but they're very supportive at the same time. When I went in person to one of the events and I saw an older couple that are like probably in their 60s, maybe 70s playing, walking around together. And I thought, okay, that's so cool. And then in one of the Facebook groups, somebody asked the question, how old is everybody? And I saw how many people were my age or even older that were playing that did it either as a couple or just to get outside or for different reasons. And then I thought, okay, so I'm not the only one my age playing. And it made me feel a little bit better that here I am at 54 playing Pokemon.
So what is it about Pokemon in general that's just a hesitancy at first, or just a game like Pokemon? Is it just that you're kind of too old for it kind of thing?
It's a kid's game. I'm too old to be playing that. I'm a mother and now a grandmother, and here I am playing a Pokemon game. But it's fun. For me, it's a great escape from life. Adulting is not always fun. You know? So,
Amen.
isn't that the truth? So, getting to go play and have fun, and I can take it with me. It's not like I have to go somewhere to play. If I have a few minutes to play, I can just jump on my phone wherever I am and play. So it's fun.
What is it about Pokemon Go that got you hooked?
I think for me, I love little surprises. My husband always says I'm the easiest person to buy for because he can buy just the most simple little bitty gift or something. I get so excited about it. And I really do. So if there's a new Pokemon or one that I don't have or the chance of getting a shiny, I get so excited. It doesn't matter if they have crap stats. If I get something new, it's super exciting.
With your brief experience in Pokemon Go, do you have like a particular favorite at all?
I do, and it's probably not what most people would think of as being a favorite, but I love Ponyta and Rapidash. I guess my favorite is the Galarian Shiny is my favorite. And that comes from my background. I grew up and rode horses and competed in rodeos and rodeo pageants my whole life. So that's the closest one to a horse. So that's why it's my favorite.
Sounds like Ponyta and Rapidash remind you of back in the day when you used to ride horses.
Yes, very much so. And they're cute.
How long ago did you used to ride horses?
I have not ridden in quite a few years. My daughter competed after she graduated high school. That's probably when it all kind of stopped. Our son just graduated high school, but he didn't compete in rodeos. He showed show pigs. So we traveled with him doing that. My sister had some horses and I would still ride with her some, but it's been a long time. But I rodeoed all through high school and college, and then that's where I quit competitively.
So this is why I asked this question because for Pokemon fans, we grew up with the anime. There's a scene where the main character rides Rapidash, but he rides that without any saddle or equipment. How realistic is that from somebody who has familiarity with horses?
If they are well trained, you absolutely can. I had a horse that I could ride like that. I had him for probably 14 years, and there was just a connection there and a lot of trust. I could trust him that he was not going to run off. You spend a lot of time in the small area training him with you use your legs to cue them to stop, turn, because you don't have a saddle or a bridle that you're riding with. It's not the norm, but it absolutely is possible.
So it sounds like the saddle is more for the horses that you don't entirely trust or you're afraid that they might get scared. Is that fair to say?
Yes, because the only thing you have if you're not riding with the saddle is your leg strength to hold you on.
So, do you know about the other horse Pokemon that's in Pokemon?
No,
So, there's actually one more horse Pokemon besides the Ponyta and Rapidash line. It's called Mudspray and Mudsdale.
but it's not in Pokemon Go yet.
Not yet, but it should be coming around the corner. It looks like a big Bronco.
Oh, that's exciting. Now you gave me something else to look forward to. I'll have to stick with Pokemon Go until that, at least that one.
I'm surprised your son hasn't told you about it yet. I figured
I know, me, I'm asking about it.
definitely. So, I don't know if you can see it. I sent you a message. I want to get your live reaction of Mudsdale and Mudspray. If you can look at my DM.
Oh, oh, yes. Okay, so this will keep me playing for until these come into Pokemon Go for sure. Those are awesome. Awesome. I love the evolution. I love both of them. They are so cute.
Yeah, the one on the left, like I said, it looks like a donkey, but that's Mudspray. The one on the right's Mudsdale. That's the evolution.
That's great. That look just like a donkey, and that probably comes from the Dale is a Clydesdale is a draft horse that's very large, and he looks very similar to a Clydesdale. So I bet that's where that name came up.
That is exactly what it's based off of. I'm impressed you can recognize that.
So a donkey brays, when like a horse neighs, a donkey will bray. So mud bray, that's where they're getting that name. That's so cool.
Wait, what does it mean for a horse to bray? I'm curious.
Horse will neigh, they'll nicker, but donkeys will make their braying sound. I'm sure that's where they got that made. That's so cool.
Today I learned. I didn't know about that.
Well, and I learned too. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Last minute question. What's the difference between a horse and a bronco?
Bronco comes from more a term of wild animals. So there are a lot of wild horses, especially up like Montana, in the mountains that are not domesticated. So it's kind of like wild cats or dogs. Horses are domesticated and they're bred with genetics and registered, and much like cats or dogs. The Broncos are wild. That being said, horses that they use at rodeos, a lot of them are not wild. They can have a halter and can be led around. So when you hear of them at rodeos using broncs during the rodeo, not all of them are true wild horses.
So moving forward, obviously you picked the game up in 2020. What was it like for you trying to play or pick up your son's account?
So when I started out, knew very little and still don't know as I would like to. I simply would catch Pokemon in the wild. My son would help me with the Discord group that he was in to be able to get into some raids. I just used the recommended. But when GoFest 2021 came around, I saw all those legendaries that I wanted so bad. And I thought, I have to learn how to use Discord so that I can raid. There's not a lot of people that play here locally. So that was my challenge, was to learn how to use Discord so that I could raid during GoFest. And that's where I really started having a lot of fun. I probably used like a Pikachu or something in a raid and felt like that was me. But I've slowly have learned a little bit more about how to pick Pokemon for raids and things like that. It's been a lot of fun.
What is it like where you live right now to play Pokemon Go?
There's nobody. I literally ran into 2 people, so there's very little opportunity to raid locally where I am, and I don't really know anybody in this area that play. But the remote raids for me is the only way that I really have the opportunity to raid at all, unless it's a 1 or 3-star raid.
Sounds like there's not many active players where you live, and it's just you and those people you found that play.
Yes, I had met one other young kiddo and we became friends, on Pokemon. And now with Campfire starting up, I'll be able to communicate with them. And so we could possibly coordinate. But right now, there's really not anything around me. There's one Pokestop that's within walking distance from my house. I live in a very rural area. And then it's about 10, 15 miles into town to find any other Pokestops. So a lot of what I do, at least on the rates, is all remote.
Right. And everything that's Niantic has changed over time. Like when you came into this game, everything you knew was there. And slowly Niantic has been changing back to how they used to do it before the pandemic. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't really have a frame of reference because I only know it from the pandemic to now. I understand their desire to get people out and walking and interacting, and I do like that. For me, Dallas is not close by. That's my closest major city. So for me, having the opportunity to raid remotely is paramount. The new adventure incense that they started, that has been wonderful because I can go and walk out here where I live out in the country and still get to play and have the opportunity to come across some more rare mons that I might not see otherwise.
Do you use the adventure incense every day?
Not every day, but if I'm at home, then I definitely do because otherwise I wouldn't really even have any spawn in the wild out here where I am.
One of the things that Niantic added, and it's still pending, is the remote raids. That was not something that was there before the pandemic. It was something that Niantic added to kind of help people raid. One of the nerfs that's supposed to come is to where you're only doing half the damage to remote raids, to where you can still get invited, but you won't be able to do as much damage as somebody who's in person. Would you still use remote raids even with the nerf?
In that situation, then I probably would, just because we have a great group of people that raid together. If they took remote raids away completely, then I don't know if I would stick with Pokemon Go.
It would just be too much, it sounds like.
Yes, I'm a mom and a grandmom now and work and not being close to a big city. All those things make it a little more difficult to get to raid in person. So taking that part of it out of it, I don't know if I would continue playing or not. It would surprise me if they took them away completely because I know what they've made off of me. They
Right.
have to be making a killing from people who are purchasing remote raid passes. Because what was it? There was one thing that they took away and then they ended up putting it back. Can't remember now what it was, but enough people spoke up about it.
It was the Pokestop distance. They took that away and it came back, and then they did take away the incense boost. So now you have to move around with the incense.
Yes, and I can understand that. I did agree with them putting it back as far as the distance because there still are people that aren't comfortable being out in public or being around larger groups of people. So for them to have the ability to still be able to drive around and potentially play, I think that that was a good decision. Of course, there's so many different types of people that play and play for different reasons. And I understand the people that aren't able to get out and walk and that might want to be able to drive around or are comfortable getting out and walking.
You're finding out why I like to do this podcast.
Right? It's neat to hear different people's stories. And the people that I've met have been so nice and encouraging, especially for somebody that didn't know anything when they first started. And I still don't know a lot. I can reach out, and there's such a great community of people that are willing to help and answer questions and be supportive. I do like that a lot.
How important is it for people to be welcoming, to be understanding for somebody who doesn't know Pokemon, to have patience, like in your example?
I think it's key. And I try and remember that no matter what you do, you started there at some point yourself. So to give grace and encouragement and understanding. If I lose a raid pass for somebody that's just trying to host their first raids, which I'm still scared to death to even try, I'm not going to get upset about it. They're trying to learn, and I don't believe it's ever intentional. So having that support, being able to ask questions. I'm trying to learn about PvP. I don't really know anything about it. And in the Discord group, they've been very supportive and given me lots of information. It's just one area that I haven't had time to sit down and learn about. But knowing that you can go ask questions and not be looked down upon, if you will, is a wonderful thing to be a part of. I originally found her Facebook group before that GoFest 2021, which led me to the Discord group. And like I said, I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know what you did when you got into Discord, but everybody's been so kind and helpful and excited for you too. For me to get a shiny, and it may be one that everybody has, but I don't have it. And I am so excited about it. They're excited for me too. That whole group, and especially Upbeat, has been very welcoming, and it's helped me to get to where I am and to continue to enjoy the game.
Now, with your experience at Pokemon Go, and as you've learned about Pokemon, the ones that come out, how has that changed your relationship with your son, or has it changed it at all?
Well, he's one of my biggest cheerleaders too. Like I said, my whole family likes to give me a hard time. But, anytime I get a rare Pokemon or one with really good stats or something, he's very encouraging.
Has your son ever asked for his account back?
Yes, he tried once. So he started playing it, and I go, nope, no, 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 this one's mine now.
You've put too much time and effort into it?
I have. I put all the work to it. He'll have to put in the work to get all the legendaries,
Yeah, I mean, he could start his own account. What's stopping him?
right? He doesn't even have it downloaded on his phone right now.
So, since you're in a small town or a rural area, in what ways do you think Niantic could help the rural areas like where you live play Pokemon Go?
I love that they add that Adventure Instance has been a nice change. There's not even a gym remotely close to me, but there's just not much out here. So I don't know how they could change that. Once Campfire is really up and going and being able to communicate with people that are here local will be nice.
Do you have any particular goals when it comes to Pokemon Go?
I want a Shundo. I want a Shundo so bad. It'll probably be like a Fisk or something when I get one, and I'll be really bummed.
So do you have a particular Pokemon in mind?
Ponytail will be nice.
Hey, there you go. Now we're talking. You guys say it specifically so that way you have a chance of it happening.
There we go. That works.
Well, thank you, Dana, for coming on the show. Before you do go, do you have any last minute words or last minute things you want to say?
I'm grateful, especially when I started out and didn't know anything. The gentleman I told you that I saw playing that I worked for, he did not know how to appraise your Pokemon. And the only reason I knew was because of my son. He had trashed, he doesn't know how many perfect Pokemon because he didn't even know to check them. So if he had duplicates, he just got rid of them. So if you come across somebody that's just starting out, give them some tips or ask them if they know about different aspects of it, because it does make the game more fun when you learn those different things. It sure have helped me and made the game a lot more fun.
Thank you for listening to As the Pokeball Turns, where every trainer has a story. If this episode resonated with you, share this episode with a fellow trainer and follow the podcast for more voices, more journeys, and more memories. I'm David Hernandez, and remember, your next Pokemon adventure begins here.